Most of the things that you did not do in your life, the risks that you did not take, the words that you did not say, the versions of yourself you never tried, you were not stopped by fear. They were stopped by shame. Not even danger, not logic, not failure, just the idea of how you would look. And shame is one of the most misunderstood emotions we have. It wasn't created to help you grow or expand. Originally, it existed to help small tribes grow, to make sure that no one crossed their limits that would get them expelled or punished or pushed out. In those settings, behavior was controlled through very clear external consequences. You did something wrong and you were punished. And you were punished through either exclusion or by force. But then, as society started to grow, more complex and more hierarchical, controlling people externally became very inefficient. So the systems shifted. And then, instead of saying that if you disobey, you will be punished, it slowly became to if you disobey, then you should feel bad about who you are. That's where shame stopped being just a social signal and became a tool of regulation. Because shame never says that this action did not work out. Shame says that something is wrong with me. And once that identity is attacked, people do not experiment, they do not try, they do not show any visibility, they stay exactly where they are, even if they don't want to stay where they are. What's important to understand here is that institutions don't create emotions, they define what gets associated with them. And then over time, power structures decided which behaviors should feel embarrassing, improper, or low status. And you can recognize this clearly with an open mind if you see how religion operates, wherein the ideas of sin, status, impurity were used to regulate desires and expression. You can see it in class systems where knowing your place was moralized, in gender norms, especially around visibility and behavior. How women are made to feel shameful for however they want to express themselves, to even having control over their bodies. And even in work culture, where failure is not treated as a feedback but as a personal defeat. And once a behavior is labeled as shameful, most people won't even touch it, even if it could free them, right? Shame survives on this one core belief that people are watching me, that everything you do gets noticed, people are watching you, you are being judged, and you are being remembered. And then came in the modern media, which scaled this idea. Constant comparison created through lives set on artificial baselines for success, bodies, timelines, and personalities. Anything below that baseline feels like a personal failure. Social media also trains us to feel like we're always being observed, even though nobody is actually watching. And once visibility becomes permanent, so does self monitoring. However, psychologically, though, this belief system is not even true. There is something called spotlight effect, where we massively overestimate how much attention other people are paying to us. In reality, most people are busy navigating their own insecurities, their own image, their own fear of being seen. So while you are here replaying that one awkward moment in your head, that most people have already forgotten it or never noticed in the first place. Shame feels powerful not because it is accurate, but because it feels public. This is also why large systems don't need force to keep people in place. Shame does the job so much better. Because people who feel embarrassed or shameful, they police themselves before anybody could do that for them. They avoid trying publicly, they avoid failing visibly, they avoid questioning norms or experimenting with identity, not because they are incapable, but because they don't want to look foolish. And now, if you don't realize this already, that is incredibly efficient for maintaining stability and predictability. No conspiracy needed, just incentives. That's why older people seem like they just don't care. They say whatever they want to say, they do whatever they want to do. That is not because they're magically wiser, but because they have collected evidence. They have failed publicly, they have seen embarrassment, they have been misunderstood, and life kept moving anyway. There was no punishment, there was no collapse, there was no exile, just memory fading away and days passing by. Shame slowly loses its authority. And I see this happening in my own life. I don't have like 1,000 followers even on Instagram or whatsoever, right? I have what, like something 200 followers. I don't think that I am that significant or anything. I don't take myself seriously. I love myself, but I don't put myself on a pedestal, so to say, right? And yet, people still DM me saying that I inspire them, how much I have made an impact on their life positively. And that honestly still baffles me every time, because it just shows how much impact you can make just by being visible. Not perfect, not polished, just by being yourself. Shame tells you that you are too small to even matter. But reality quietly proves the opposite. And here's the part that we don't realize, right? That shame does not disappear before action, it disappears slowly after survived action. You do not wait till confidence shows up. You act, you feel exposed, you survive it, and your nervous system updates that story. That's how growth actually happens, not by removing shame, but by outgrowing its authority. So, now if you want to move forward, the first thing you're gonna do is stop treating shame like a stop sign. Start seeing it as a signal that you are about to expand. I mean, why would you want to believe something that does not benefit you? You legit, whatever it may is happening in your life, just gaslight yourself into believing that whatever is happening for my good. I am aligned. So start seeing it as a signal that you are about to expand. If shame is present, growth is nearby. The second thing you do is to do the thing even while you feel embarrassed. Not to be fearless, but to prove yourself that embarrassment is survivable. Falling down teaches you more than staying frozen ever will. And the third thing is detach your self worth from visibility. Your value does not increase when people approve of you, your value does not decrease when they don't. People are not judging you, people are too damn busy to survive their own thoughts. Shame only controls people who believe that they are constantly being watched, that they are so important. I mean, value yourself, love yourself, but don't take yourself so seriously. Don't put yourself on this imaginary pedestal that you cannot even do anything. And once you understand how shame is a learned concept, culturally assigned thing, and most imagined thing, then its consequences, the mechanism of it all starts to break. I used to feel so embarrassed of like making these videos or being present online, because I used to think like what people would think if they saw I am making videos on YouTube and stuff like that. And then I realized once I actually got into this whole thing that people feel so inspired, if anything. People always say you're doing so well. I mean it legit baffles me on a daily basis how much of an impact you can just make by being yourself. And once you realize that most of your life happens off stage, you stop performing and you start living, and that's usually when things finally begin to move. Because shame is just a made up concept, honestly. It's just a made up concept, and you are being a slave of it. And once you realize that, you will break free from that. And with that, I will see you in the next video.